Alrighty, hello, good morning, afternoon, or whatever it may happen to be. And today, I want to talk about another recent favorite that I've been loving the absolute hell out of. That's MGS2. So, okay, I did a thing for the first one a little bit ago, and was saying, you know what? It was neat. It could use some refinement. It could use a little work. And, oh boy, did they refine it just like all hell in this one. So, okay, so the first one, if you didn't see the first thing, basically the general idea is it's like take anything you'd want out of a Metal Gear game and then just like make it a strategy RPG more or less. I say more or less because it's like honestly a lot of it comes down to the cards. Like you are still building out your two characters and things like that. You don't have a huge team, but still there's a ton here. Like honestly, there's more options than most of your usual map-based strategy RPGs and things like that. Because yeah, it is all about the tricky builds and whatever else. So, okay. So I guess probably best example for that, we're just going to go to the arena here real quick just to show a quick fight. On a little bit of a side note, so just like the first game, you have two characters. You have Snake and you have the femme fatale lady, which it's a different one in this one. Funnily enough, the original is in the arena, but she's not actually part of the story or even really mentioned as much of anything, oddly enough. It feels like they basically took everything that people probably complained about with the first one, like from the presentation to the to how it played, to the characters and whatever else, and they basically just redid the first one to whatever you'd possibly want it to be. So, for example, the first one, I don't know if it had an arena mode, but this one does. I don't know when it exactly unlocks, but yeah. You get different bosses from throughout the series, and you just basically have a gauntlet of different bosses if you just feel like going into the arena here. Interestingly enough, the music actually adjusts based off of what game it's from. And yeah, so here's the general deal. Every turn you get 7 cards, or I'm sorry, you start off with 7 cards. Every turn you get 2 cards. Some of them you equip, some of them you use, some of them just kind of happen, like link cards. They just have certain criteria that are listed on them, and they just sort of occur. I think I saw one of those in the deck there. You build a deck of 30 to 40 cards, and weird crap happens from it. So, like for example, this one right here, I personally like cheesing the hell out of this game because there's so much you can cheese. It's fantastic. So, like for example, the fact that this guy, like all the bosses have high health. All of the bleeding and fire effects and things like that scale, so for example, you hit him with a thing that does bleeding, it's going to do a good bit. This guy's going to evade, that's not going to be great. But some that they can't evade, for example, you can still shoot at stuff in the terrain. It is a Metal Gear game after all. Your main guy here has 2 moves. When you get the lady in your team, she's got 2. And since we set it on easy mode, this guy's actually got less health than we do. Yeah, if anybody runs past somebody that's on fire, they end up getting a fire effect. Whose music is this from MGS3? I don't know if this is the alert music or if this is the pain boss fight. I'm not sure. Truth be told, I have not played MGS3 as much as any of the others. That's a bit of a long story behind that one, but anyway, so things that have changed since the first one. You can, there's a lot more interactability between everything else. So, for example, right here, I believe you could still do this in the original, but it wasn't nearly as much of a thing. Instead of going to the start menu to go attack somebody, you just basically hold triangle, go and kick somebody sideways, and unless you miss the kick, you'll always hit them sideways. Unless something prevents them from flying to the side, like right here, I believe he probably has a no knockdown card, or she has one that prevents her from moving. They'll be in a position where they would just knock each other down. Or if they're next to a railing, you can just kick them off a railing onto a floor below, which I think we can actually show here in just a sec. One thing that I personally really loved is the knife. Yeah, it actually does all the same stuff from MGS3, which is fitting because, yeah, this is actually made by the same people that made MGS3. Like, the first one was apparently a PSP launch title. This one is right towards the end of its life there. But yeah, you just build all kinds of counters, you build all kinds of weird decks and whatever else. This guy, if you go to Extreme, is hilarious. Like, the one time that I tried Extreme for the arena, it actually started off with Vampires, one of the first bosses. And basically what he did... What even is this? I can't even... It's too bright. You get all kinds of funny effects going on. Like, for example, if you're blinded by smoke, you get a smoky effect on your card. If you fall in oil, you get an oil effect on your cards. It's cool. There's a whole lot of little immersion changes and things like that. You can specialize in hand-to-hand or guns or whatever else. Or in the case of this guy, specialize in all bizarre kinds of cheesy cards. But, like, one of the turns, for example, this guy took was, he was just like, he ran up, stabbed twice with a knife, set himself up to take four rounds at once, ran away and chucked a grenade on my now unconscious body. Like, it's wild, the things that you can come up with. But, like I was saying earlier, a lot of things can potentially affect how the fight's going. Like, if you go for a higher elevation, we can see here that we're still going to have line of sight on him. Yes, XCOM 2 stuff happened long before XCOM 2. This has a potential to link up with that card that was sitting there that said +1 ammo, which meant that it could potentially fire one extra time. With your equipable guns, you can basically combine them to all kinds of different effects. You occasionally get stuff like that, where you're getting stuff out of the arena, you know, just free cards and things. But yeah, there's all kinds of fun stuff. There we go. There's the music I wanted. Yeah, you get bosses from all throughout the series. Actually, there was one funny one that seemed to be, I think, a bit of a rarity because it was like palette swaps of the two Femme Fatale characters from the Acid games. But you've still got all your cards from your previous ones, which are way better balanced in this one. So, for example, in the previous one, you start off with the MGS1 stuff, which was way, way, way better than a lot of the other stuff that you could get. Like, to the point that the starting rifle that you got was just head and shoulders above pretty much anything else you could get. Up until the very end of the game, or maybe some really cheesy stuff. In this one, you actually start off with MGS3. Go to 2, go to Chronicle, which is like all the older games and things. But there's a better part too. So, okay. So in the original, once you got to Chronicle, there was really no need to use anything else. Because it was, again, just hands down the best one, because you had so many broken cards from older games on there. Like one that was the Running Man from the original, like, I think it was the US version of Metal Gear 1. And just let you move 8 tiles in one turn, or there was another one that's, there was the Gun Del Sol, whatever the hell that thing's from. That was the thing that allowed for cheesing the hell out of the game the first time around, when I was doing the video on that one. Because, yeah, by the time I actually did get to the end of that game, it was hilarious. I don't know if that counts as... Yeah, so that thing counted as firing straight through my, my rocket, so just blew her up, too. I think we might just lose the arena here. Lost on easy. Great job. Great job, loser. Anywho. But here's the cool part. Unlike the first one, instead of just those first 4 that you end up unlocking, because apparently people wanted more and more and more and more and more cards, you actually do even better than that. Because it turns out, I just found this out about 2 minutes ago when I was going and redoing New Game Plus to actually try to unlock some of the maps. But, here we go, go to the card shop. So, the first time through, you get the base versions of each game. Going back, you get the substance, like, subsistence for MGS3, I think it was like sustenance or something for MGS2. I don't know what it's going to be for those two, but I just found out that, yeah, in New Game Plus, you get entirely different unlocks and things. But yeah, basically the way that it works is you go, you buy cards, you use points that you get from missions. Interestingly, the dialogue actually judges you for playing non-pacifist and things like that. But yeah, there's actually very little point benefit to doing it straight pacifist as long as you don't get discovered. I believe it's like on some missions, no kills is going to be the thing to put you over to get an S rank, and some of them just not being discovered. But in some of them, they will just straight up give you points for being crazy. Like, for example, if we go for one here. Wait, did I? So yeah, if you go back there, just like many of the other games with their side missions, this one actually kind of takes a Ghost Babel approach. That you take you just go to an area and they're like, here's just a bunch of different stuff you can do. Like, for example, one here, where it's Ooh, why is my phone getting messages? Where, for example, the mission for this one is to somehow create a situation that causes this guy to be to take enough damage to be killed off by a explosion of claymores here. So he's got 700. If we go here, these do 100 each. So he has to be hit by 7 claymores at once. I actually have not been able to pull this one off yet, but I was thinking just now how to potentially pull that off. So that's what we're going to do. So, let's see. So the way I'm thinking is we need one right there, but then we'd also need 2 more facing that way. So it needs to be one right here to essentially blow him backwards. Okay, so we put one right there. I have no idea if this is going to work. So he's going to take a step. That's going to blow him back. We're going to need... I think we need to put the ones facing this way first, potentially. I don't know. We're just gonna try this and see what works. But yeah, this is one of your introductions to, like, hey, just so you know, if you're ever trying this on extreme mode, going straight pacifist may not be the best way to do it. Here's your introduction to some of the wild crap you might potentially get up to. I don't think this one can even reach him from there, but we're gonna try. So we're gonna go right here. Now, I think if we crawl, it won't set it off. Because right now it is active facing this way. Or we might just die here. No, we're okay. Alright, that'll do. Alright, so we're gonna face this way. Okay. And yeah, so basically same mechanics from the rest of the series apply. It's pretty cool. But like I was saying earlier, you can combine a bunch of stuff that's technically considered the same. Like, for example, if you're doing, like, for example, like, say you have a pistol in hand or whatever else, and you get one that's like, oh, you only get 2 shots, but it's really powerful, and then you get a little submachine gun, it's like, oh, you'll shoot 4 times, but it's pretty weak. You can basically go to, here, let's go ahead and set this off here. You can basically go to combine those two, and it's like, okay, just stick the ammo from the SMG into the pistol, and good enough. So here's how this works. Like, you may notice that it's blocking off tiles as soon as you move. As long as nothing happens during those tiles, you can reset your turn, which is, quite frankly, I don't know why a lot of SRPGs didn't potentially pick up that idea, because that's the perfect way to handle reset. That is absolutely perfect. But anyway, we'll just go ahead and knock. This guy's going to get interested, and he should be getting bonus from the ones attacking him from the back, but I guess we'll find out what happens here. Because, yeah, you're supposed to pull this off with 1 attack, so let's see what happens. Yeah, that won't be enough. Oh! Okay, I see how that's supposed to happen. Because if you surround that second tile, that would do it. But still... Oh, it's so cool, though. Like, just the weird crap that happens is so fun. But yeah, you can, like, knock people off to different elevations, there's literally one map that's just a moving train. And they're like, hey, figure out how to, fight everybody on this train in 1 round. Like, how do you John Wick, like, 6 people on once? Also, the music is amazing, I just want to say. Like, right now, this is still on normal mode. It's gonna be pretty, I've looked a little bit into extreme mode, and I'm honestly, whenever there's more time, whenever stuff's financially not completely in the dumpster, good God, I want to stream that, because it's so good. Yeah, you may notice in the top left there, the way that their grids and everything are set up. You can equip 2 things to start off with, 4 if you expand it, 9 if you expand it further. And with the cards that I have now, it can go all the way up to 9, and New Game Plus actually does scale all the way up there. Like, they will have full endgame stuff appropriate to where you are. It's like you get up to somebody and they're like, yeah, nice anti-tank rifle. I've got like 8 layers of Kevlar on. each one's going to eat one of them. What is your plan to deal with this? And it's like, oh, get them over to a train and throw them off, or whatever else. And yeah, there are cameras and things. One thing that I appreciate that this one cleared up, because it was really frustrating in the first iteration, it does clarify that cameras do not count for eliminations. It's like they had eliminations and sneaking ones in last one. For this one, they've got eliminations. They've got what's known as searching mode, which is basically you're dealing with line of sight. So, for example, you can't undo your turns, and you're just dealing with line of sight stuff all the time. Or basically everybody's fighting in the dark, which is a lot cooler than it originally sounds. Like, I'll see if this one actually has it available already. Also, just all the animations and sounds and everything are so spot on. But like right there, that thing, that was just a combination of both the normal ones, but it combined with the ammo one. If combined with like an Uzi, for example, it would end up going 5 times on what's effectively a Magnum. So you can potentially combine just about anything for all kinds of different effects. Like elevation plays a part. You've got different facing effects that play a part. You've got some things that scale off of health or whatever else. Like, for example, I ended up cheesing the last boss and actually beating it in one shot with this thing. Because there was a combination of a few different cards in this deck, which, like, one of them was all damage taken from a round is just added to your next attack, combined with an elevation bonus, combined with attacking from the back, combined with the grenade launcher that scales off health and being at about 1 health at the time. So the thing did like 2,000 something damage. It's really fun to cheese the systems of this game. It's made to be played over and over, and like, with exception to a couple bits, honestly, the maps are just designed for fun. This is absolutely... Like, I can kind of see why they never made a sequel to this, because, quite frankly, this is... I don't know where you even improve it from here. For this formula being what it is, this is... Like, everything's exactly where I'd want it, personally. Also, you can tell we're New Game Plus. We are not meant to have an anti-tank rifle. And, like, one of the things I'd say kind of sucked about the original was definitely the last boss. That thing was garbage. You actually fight that thing again, and it's a way better version in this one. As you can see here, you still got your counter cards. There's actually one thing I'm hoping got saved on the other save file there, which is a really cool effect that if you miss a shot, there's actually a bit of an RNG, like counter RNG kind of situation, where if you have a partner with you and you miss your shot, there's a chance that they'll take their equipped weapon and take the shot for you, as long as they're within range. So, like, say you give a sniper rifle to the to the other lady there, she'll end, like, you take your pistol shot, you end up missing a shot, and they're like, "Oh man, you suck. Let me take that shot for you." It's such a good mechanic. Not to mention, it kind of, I don't know, it gives a whole lot more personality to it, because they have little lines back and forth and little quips here and there. It's cool. It's so good. The whole team situation between the two, it's way more believable in this one. Like in the first game, it was kind of there, but it wasn't anything too amazing. In this one, oh yeah. In this one, it's believable. Which, by the way, they even nailed the ending on this one. Like, I didn't think that they could possibly nail an ending on something like this, and it was so absurd that I had to love it. So let's go to continue here, see if by chance I have an older... Oh, well, that's a shame. Anyway, I was hoping to show off some other stuff, but that's about that. If you've never tried this one, if you've never tried either of the NG Acid games, like, give this one a go. It's really, really good. Like, this went from I'm just gonna download it to laugh at it to this is easily probably one of my favorite PSP games out there. Just ignore the fact that Snake looks like a fridge. I don't... Surprisingly, even that's explained. But yeah, it's one of those, like, just deal with it. It's a stylistic choice kind of thing. Let's just say, surprisingly, even that makes sense. But this is what I was talking about, where if you're going for like full New Game Plus and whatever else, like all the proper Metal Gear games, like this comes with a legit New Game Plus. Like, it will challenge you for real. So, like, for example, with different mechanics there, right there, they had the knockdown, which took away one of his cards. If he had 0 cards, that would have knocked him unconscious, which would put him on the ground, which would have given a damage bonus to this thing, but he's also blinded, so he's going to grab a card at random for his next round. Realistically, I don't have any actual answers to this guy right now, aside from probably just moving out of the way and hoping, yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, the whole Cyborg Ninja thing is still a card, although I will say it does not seem like the AI spams it. That was a really annoying issue with the first game. He's blind, he doesn't know what's going on. That was a confusing issue with the first game, because yeah, all the enemy soldiers around halfway through the game would just suddenly have that card, so if you ever triggered the alarm, you would just constantly take damage, which was kind of just cheap. But yeah. Is he going to counter? Okay, it doesn't feel like countering. All the counters are percentage-based. Unlike the first one also, it's not like 50, 75, 100, it's just a flat 75, that is your card. That is the good one. And this is what I mean by the guy is entirely set up to take 80 turns in a row. That didn't look counterable, it absolutely is. You have ways to do that too. But that's what makes this game fun. Anyway, hopefully did a decent job of convincing somebody to go try this thing. It's a Metal Gear game that entirely has has like 4 missions of just having you punt people off a train. That is a legit mechanic. Beautiful game, easily one of my favorites for quite a while here, and I'm knocking stuff off my desk. But yeah, until regular streams start up, there's another little review out of the way. Have a good one.